Working class beer reviews. Looking at Guinness Extra Stout. So, before we move on, like I always tell myself, ooh, look at all that vapor. Nice. All right, so I've got a dimpled mug here. Sometimes you see this with Oktoberfest, but I've also seen Guinness Extra Stout gift sets that have these dimpled mugs. I bought this actually at Dollar Tree, so it's nothing fancy, honestly. Just something different. I don't want to use. I'm trying not to use like all the same glassware all the time. I buy enough at thrift stores and oh 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 my goodness! I'm a bit on a slant right here. I'm in my backyard. Um, so while we let that set up, Guinness Extra Stout. This is on the Guinness.com website. It is 5.6% alcohol. This is a 12-ounce serving. No, this one's 11.2. Product of Ireland. So this one actually comes from Ireland. I bought this a while back. Some of them you were getting, they would be in like New Brunswick, Canada, or something like that. I've had regular Guinness Stout, Guinness Draft. I've had Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, which was hard for me to find. That we got a steal on it, but this is back before I was doing beer reviews myself. Guinness Blonde, and they may have made a red ale at some point in time. And I think, well, the blonde could be used like a pale ale if you wanted to make a black and tan. So 5.6% alcohol, 180 calories, 11 grams of carbs, zero fat. So it's not a low carb beer. Ingredients are water, malted barley, roasted barley, hops, and yeast. So it's like triple barley. Malted barley, regular barley, roasted barley, hops, and yeast. It says it's been over 200 years since the family favorite was born, and Guinness moves forward. It's safe to say history accompanies us in every bottle, still enjoyed by people all over the world. For Guinness Extra Stout, we are eternally grateful. So, yeah, this is not going to have the nitrogen charge in it like the normal Guinness does. So this is not like a draft beer. I'm wondering if this is more along the lines of what Guinness was originally back in the days of yore. But you know, if you look at regular Guinness draft, it's only like 4.4 or something like that. It's not a real strong alcohol beer. So this being 5.6, let's see if the bottle says any different. It does not. So the website is where you get all the information. Yeah, 5.6, and obviously this is going to have lots of recipes. Um, because it's from Ireland, all sorts of St. Patrick's Day type festival. You're going to see Guinness all over the place. And I'm sure there's certain parts of the United States that have more Irish communities than others, especially up in the New England area because of the immigrants that happened, you know, in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. So this head's sticking around. It's very foamy, very dark. It's kind of dim outside. Sorry, I tried to squeeze this in before it got too dark. Hopefully there's enough light to catch this. So I think if you put this through the sun, you'll get a bit of a ruby red through it, but it's pretty dark. All that roasted barley is what you're getting. The tan khaki head, it's kind of spongy. It's kind of, I can't really show you. It's not really crackling, but let's give it a smell. Wow. It's like clean water with a little bit of yeast. I smell the yeast. This reminds me a lot of Samuel Smith's, like the Tatty Porter and stuff like that. So this is porter is like it's like a weak stout. It's like a heavily roasted barley, so it's dark, but it's not strong. So this is like a stout porter, what they would call it, is essentially what this is. So probably turn that out so you can see it. So let's give it a taste. Oh yeah, lots of caramel type character, roasted grain. Um, yeah, a little bit of like a sweetness. You can get a bit of what they might consider like a coffee kind of flavor out of it, but not like super strong. Not like a coffee stout. You get a coffee stout, more than likely it's actually had coffee beans brewed in it, where this is just barley. So if you get kind of what you're getting, if you taste coffee, it's just the roasted grains, because they roast coffee beans to be dark. So you're getting that kind of not acrid burnt, but the roasted grains give off a similar flavor as coffee beans would. They make coffee beans out of all sorts of stuff, like chicory, chickpeas, different things like that. You can make coffee out of a lot of different things. But so take another drink. I like it. I've had it many times, honestly. This is not my first time. Cool little Guinness Extra Stout cap. I'm too far away for you to really see it. I hope I'm picking up volume wise. If not, you're going to have to turn your volume way up on this one. I know I need a microphone. I know I need a microphone. I'm sorry. So sorry. Um, yeah, I'm sure if you go to different websites and see the ratings, some people, because it's mass produced, they're going to dog on it. Other people, because it's a classic, you know, they're going to hold fast to it. They love it. And I would much rather have this than the regular Guinness because it has more body. The regular Guinness is kind of thin, with it only being like 4 point something percent. I mean, you get the roasted taste, but the body is thin. So this is much more fulfilling, and I appreciate this. The foreign extra stout, it was like, I want to say it's like close to 8%, and it was good. And I'll tell you the story how we came across that. Me and a buddy of mine uh, went to State Fair Spirits here in Sedalia, and they let you go into the beer cooler because they have other stuff in there that's not always on display. And they had these 4 packs of this. These came in 6 packs, but they have 4 packs of the foreign extra stout. And I'm guessing normally those things are like $12 or more for those, and they're kind of hard to find. I've never seen them in my area before, but they rung up at like $4. So we cleaned house and bought as much as we could and took them home. Yeah, and I remember that being a pretty awesome time because they were pretty yummy. I've heard some people say that they don't like them, but I really enjoyed them. Be like an imperial stout essentially. So foreign extra stout, foreign meaning like shipment, like it goes to a foreign country. That's what imperial stouts. They had to be stronger to endure the journey without spoil. That's kind of like the same with IPAs. IPAs were meant to be hoppier so they could endure the journey because they had a spoilage protection with the hop oils and stuff like that. So by the time they actually got to the location they were intended, they actually tamed down a little bit. But if you drink IPAs fresh, they're very strong and pungent. You get a lot of that hoppiness. But I think with IPAs the intent was just to make it last longer because it was back when they sailed boats from England to India or over to China and all that, they had to go all the way south of Africa and around and into the Indian Ocean, and it takes several months, sometimes close up to a year, depending on difficulty or how many stops they had to make. Had to endure that whole time inside the barrel. But you also see Russian imperial stouts. It's kind of the same way. They went north up through the Arctic shelf, which that's a treacherous journey. Think about that. Going all the way up there towards Siberia and stuff like that. Ridiculous. I poured all that in there. But anyway, yeah, highly rated. I love this stuff. This is awesome. And I don't drink this very often because, stouts have their time. Honestly, this is midsummer. This isn't really stout time. You normally do this, it's like a warmer in the winter, by a fire and stuff like that. But I just happen to have a couple of these in my fridge that I've been saving back. I've got a couple other beers that I'm going to try to squeeze in at some point in time to have reviews for, and I'll try to upload them. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and paying attention. And let me know in the comments what you think of Guinness Extra Stout, Guinness in general. Do you think it's just a overplayed, gimmicky beer? It was owned by Diageo, but I don't know who owns it. If it's still Diageo, if it's someone else. So that I don't think they own themselves anymore per se. But you see merchandise and points of sale advertisement all over the place. It's super popular when it comes to, Irish, British Isle type beers. So anyway, thank you guys, and I appreciate you, and I will see you guys later.